Currently downtown Orlando right now, trying to find a very weird, unique, and some say haunted cemetery. Using my trusty maps to try and find this place. I've been here before. It's a little tricky to find, and there's a reason why I'm doing an episode on this. At one point, people didn't know this was a cemetery. People had no idea that people were actually buried in this plot of land. All right, we are downtown, having to cross Michigan Street. Our destination is right across the street, Orange Hill Cemetery. Hi everybody and welcome to the World of Micah. Today we're going to have a little bit of a ghost story. We're going to be talking about Orange Hill Cemetery, a hidden cemetery that people have said they've seen paranormal things, ghosts, right over here in this field. Now there's a cool backstory to this that we will be getting into. But first, if you're new here, click that subscribe button. It'll keep you updated on my latest video. And if you would like to support my channel, down below is a link. It'll take you to my Patreon page. Now, let's take a closer look. So right here is a busy street in downtown Orlando. And to my right past this tree and chain fence is Orange Hill Cemetery. Over 500 people are buried straight ahead in that plot of land. Between 1907 and 1961, mostly infants and murder victims were buried here. At one point, the graveyard was full, and then it went on to be forgotten. No one really was talking about it. In fact, there is no map where each person was buried. There are only a dozen cement bricks with markers on them left to show where some of these people were actually buried. Comprehensive records were not kept. The weird thing is they didn't even know that people were buried here until they had a county-wide property audit. I guess somebody found some kind of record of this land being used as a graveyard. People have seen a lot of paranormal activity in this area. We're gonna look at the property right now. I can see how some of these people coming out of Johnny's and the other restaurants they have here off of Michigan, probably late at night, looking over and seeing some kind of ghostly figure out in the field. It's kind of eerie being right here, knowing that over 500 people are buried in unmarked graves. At some point, they put up this fence and the no trespassing by the order of the Board of County Commissioners. Some say that keeps people from parking here because, as you can see, the restaurants over here have limited parking. I could see how some people would come and try and park across the street here. And then right up here is the only thing letting people know that this is, in fact, a cemetery. Right there, 1907 to 1961. 500 infants, prisoners. Oh, and also, a very unique woman is buried right here. The first lady to ever vote in the state of Florida is buried in this plot. Although she mostly lived her life as a man, which is how she was registered to vote, Hiram E. Calder was the name she went by. She was actually buried right here. Now later on, they moved her to a cemetery in Tampa. But how historical is that? The very first woman who had to go by an alias of a man, because I'm guessing at this point women were still not able to vote, which is honestly not that long ago if you really think about it. She went by a man, changed an alias, was registered as a man to vote, so she could vote and voice her opinion. And then she ended up being buried in an unmarked plot of land in downtown Orlando. But thankfully, she was moved to Tampa. I'm sure they gave her a nice tombstone and buried her properly. They do keep up with the property here. As you can see, it has been cut. The grass has been cut. It's very nice out here, and you honestly wouldn't know. You would just think this was someone's just empty plot of land that no one decided to build a restaurant or anything on out here. But then when you dig deep on the internet, you can find out exactly what is across that chain right there. And I really would like to get over there and see if I can find any of those plots that have the brick markers. I'm sure it's so overgrown you probably couldn't see anything. But they do have a sidewalk that goes the entire perimeter of the property. So if you come out here to see it, you can get as close as I am. I just think it's kind of crazy. It just says Orange Hill Cemetery, and that's it. I'm sure it's a whole lot different out here at night. There's no street lights in this area. The street lights that I'm looking for are gonna be on the other side here on the main road. Nothing out here in this property. Oh yeah, and by the way, at one point this was called a potter's field. That's what they referred to this plot of land as, a cemetery with unmarked graves. Look it up. You'll find more details on what exactly a potter's field is. Now, there is a business up here that goes on the perimeter of the cemetery. I'm not sure what this is. There's no sign or anything. And then the do not trespass signs and everything fenced off kind of disappears. It's kind of weird in a way. Just wish I could see some of the markers. You know, that's all I want to see is one of the markers that's out here. But there's really no way of doing it because you have to physically walk out, you know, on the grass. That's as far as I'm gonna go. It's just so weird how you can kind of see it is very uneven all throughout here. It's very hilly. It's kind of weird. I wonder if people have seen people in the trees out here, or, you know, I'm not sure exactly what kind of paranormal activity people have seen, but it has been documented that this is one of the most haunted places in downtown Orlando, and I can see exactly why. Super weird. That side is completely fenced up. That side has the chain fence that goes around, and then here, as you can see, completely open for anyone. I wonder what this business thinks of this, if they even know. I'm sure they know. There is a sign that says cemetery, but at the same time, if you weren't really looking, you wouldn't see it. It is kind of hidden. Now you guys do know I enjoy a good ghost story. Halloween time is upon us, and I wanted to come out here and show you guys Orange Hill Cemetery. What do you guys think about this? Kind of crazy. I've never heard of, you know, a unmarked cemetery. It's kind of unheard of in a way. I know there's a lot of unmarked graves, but at least there's documents of someone being buried there. You know, they know what is buried there or who is buried there, and there's some kind of marker. Here, there's absolutely nothing. Right up here is a church, or at least I saw the backside of a church sign. I'm sure this at one point was a school, and I think the church took over, you know, everything, because that building right there looks like an old school. There's some basketball goals. I'm gonna walk up here and see. Forgive me, it's the Primos Center. Looks like an old school. And the sign almost looks like an old school Southern church sign. Weird. Right down the street from the cemetery. Well, that's gonna be our ghost story for today. Just noticed they were remodeling this entire house. Kind of weird, there's no roof on that house. You can see practically straight through it. Heading back to the car, I had to park at this gas station across the way here because there's nowhere to park. Just letting you guys know, there's nowhere to park. The restaurants don't appreciate you parking there because you're taking away from their business. Gas station, I'll buy a drink, and then I cross the street. But I think our adventure for today has come to an end, which means it's time to get out of the sun. I left my sunglasses at home, and it's still hot here in Central Florida, but it's also time to say goodbye. If you enjoyed today's adventure and ghost story, give me a big thumbs up. I wish I found more about, what kind of paranormal activity they were finding in Orange Hill. I can only imagine some lost souls, people who are just trying to figure out what's going on. Who knows? Who knows? If you have any idea, comment below. Let me know if you believe or into this kind of stuff. This is all for entertainment purposes because Halloween is upon us, and every now and then I enjoy a good ghost story, and I like to share them with you. See you guys tomorrow on a brand new episode of World of Micah. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye.